Hi guys. You know, I've been looking under the flower pots in my yard because there's a special friend that I have. It likes to eat roly-polies a lot, and they always go in a flower pot. Without fail, if you put a flower pot flipped over in your yard and it's in a moist place, you're going to get these. Now I'm going to turn this over and hold it over by Monica so she can see. There's a spider in here. Can you see that right in there? See that little spider down there? And then see the fuzzy white thing? She also laid some on this. That's her egg case. She's called a false widow. And that means she's not a black widow. That means that she will not hurt you. I mean, you wouldn't want her crawling in your underwear, because she could bite you and it would hurt a little bit, but she couldn't make you die. And they're really cool spiders. It's something that sometimes I can just put one on the table in the science room, and I can just go ahead and let her be there and let the children just turn it over and keep looking at her. And then in the hole in the top, we put a cricket, and she eats that cricket, but she never leaves the pot out the hole. So this is actually something that if you wanted to have it for a fun pet, you could do it. You could catch a fly and you could like mess the wings up a little bit, throw it in there, and she'll eat that, and she'll just keep laying these egg cases. But I always call them flower pot spiders. They're false widows, not real widows. They don't have hairs on them. They're dark chocolate brown, those real thin spiky legs, and there is no red mark on them. So that's how I know that it's not a black widow. Plus, with a black widow, if I touch the web, it would go doing, 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 and be so strong. They actually used black widow web during the Second World War to line up sighting equipment for a straight line. Now they use lasers with a straight line of light, but then they used black widow web. Can you believe that? And there were actually people who worked for the Army who raised black widows just for that. Wouldn't that be like the perfect job for me if I wasn't doing this? That would be very cool. So she's my little pet. I mean, I suppose I should probably name her Charlotte or something. She's been in this pot. I brought this pot home from school 2 weeks ago, but I found more around the yard. There are lots of them in any flower pot that I haven't planted yet. I have some behind me, some flower pots behind me that are waiting to put pole beans in. I want to plant some green beans in pots, and I'm going to have to wrap them with netting so the squirrels don't eat them. But you know who else eats them? The goldfinch birds. Those little seed-eating birds will go and eat the leaves and your flowers and your beans on your green beans. So I have to wrap bird netting around them. Even though I like them, they can go over and eat the rosemary seeds. That's there for them. I don't invite them to my beans. Hi guys. Hey, you remember last year we did those polyphemus moths, right? So there's a picture of one. And this is the batch that did not come out last summer. This is the batch that's waiting till May, June. I have the dates. This is August 21st. I wrote it on there. And I'm just waiting for them to come out. Everybody's fine. I hear them wiggling sometimes, like it goes like shh, 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 like dry leaves. And so I know they're just fine, and I'm just waiting for the weather to be the right temperature for them to come out, and then I'll release them. I have these oak trees here at home, and also the neighbors around the block, so there's plenty of food for caterpillars if they lay eggs. Remember, I don't have to feed these beautiful moths. They come out without mouth parts. Their big time of life is when they're a caterpillar, when they're a larva, and they eat and eat and eat. And you remember how much, remember I used to have to get leaves by the bushel for them? I will never do this project again. It was too hard. Anna's swallowtails and monarchs are easier. Even though I have to drive the monarchs over to natural bridges sometimes. This was really hard to do. I might do one or two, but I'll never do hundreds again. Remind me of that if I ever get crazy. So I'm just waiting for them to come out. Everything seems right. The weather's nice and warm. It's going to be 85 degrees today. Here I am with my pie safe, my pie cover that keeps them safe from the birds, because if I leave these open, here are a whole bunch of your swallowtail chrysalids that are, they're coming out one by one. They're in here. But if I leave that open, the chickadees will go in there and make short work of those chrysalids. Gone, boom. A few days ago, the Anna swallowtails laid eggs on my parsley under my structure that I haven't put the top on yet. And she had laid a lot of eggs, that mother Anna swallowtail. But the chickadees were all over it, and the goldfinches, and I think they ate all of them. So I'm waiting for another batch to take hold. I did go check at school though, and I found 2 nice Anna swallowtail caterpillars about that big on your fennel at school, and they're doing just fine. A lot of times early on we don't have a big clutch, that means batch of eggs, but we'll get more now. And I might even take some of these to school so that when they come out, they can mate with the butterflies that are there in Los Altos. In the meantime, I keep them safe inside this cage so they don't become bird dinner. Hi guys, good to see you again. Thought you'd appreciate it if I had a different shirt on. Gets kind of old after about 12 of these in the same shirt. I do have to keep these on for the eye flies though, but here I am. Nice to see you. Had to show you something I just caught. This is a table I set up this morning. Look at that beautiful bush. It's called Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow because the first day it has this color, the second day they turn to that color, and the third day they turn white, and then they fall off. And it smells like spicy sachets you put in your drawers. It smells really good. Now, while I was sitting here for a minute getting this stuff together, this insect came, and these are very rare, and I'm going to have Monica maybe stand up and get a picture of this. Don't kill these in your yard. These are better than ladybugs. They're called snake-necked flies. Look at that thing. If it was a female, this is a boy, it would have a great big egg layer called an ovipositor that looks like a giant stinger sticking out the back. No. These eat so many aphids, you want to see them on your roses. Never ever hurt these. But don't pick them up because, man, can they bite. But that's how they defend themselves. There's no poison or anything. It's just a pinch and it hurts. But that is called a snake-necked fly. Isn't that a bizarre insect? Look at that. Had to show you. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there, and we'll let it fly away on its own. I'm going to smell my Play-Doh. Ah, I love the smell of Play-Doh. I'll put it on there, and then my paper won't fly away. Hey, kindergartners, remember this book? This one that shows when the sun's highest in the sky and it's the most hot. They show high and hot color and low and cool color. Well, right now, we've gotten out of March and we're into April. Look how high the sun looks in the sky to us. It's not the sun that's moving. We are. We're the tipsy ballerina, you know, you're like, while we're spinning, and right now, we're leaning towards the sun, which makes the sun look higher up in the sky and go overhead. By June 21st, it'll be straight up. And my living room will look so dark. And so will the science room, because there's not any side light coming in. The darkest time of year in my living room and the science room is the summer. How weird is that? So I thought that I should remind you of this book. I think all the kids have seen it. I know the first and second grade has, and I introduced it to the kindergarten. But we were there this winter. That was December. Short days. Couldn't play outside very much. That was 16 hours of dark and 8 hours of daylight. Man, can't play soccer in the street then. Look what June's going to look like. You guys are going to be out on the front lawn till 9:30 at night and still be able to see your hand in front of your face. The mosquitoes may eat you alive, but oh well. Speaking of mosquitoes, I brought these today. I introduced Oliver's grandfather to these because he has a pond too, but he doesn't keep fishing it anymore because we had trouble with the herons eating our koi. So even my pond has no fish. It has those water striders, those true bugs with a, remember, sucking mouth tube. Swims around, catches insects that are unlucky enough to fall in the pond. And I have dragonfly nymphs. Those are their babies in the bottom. And pretty soon they should come out and be those beautiful, pretty red dragonflies. And I give them a stick and they sit on it, and the boy's redder. And he looks around and he's king of the place. And then the female comes and she's not as red. And then she'll dip her abdomen into the water after they've mated and lay eggs. And it takes 2 years for their nymphs to grow up. So I am waiting, like any minute now, those dragonflies that have been in there for 2 years ought to be splitting their skeleton, getting out of there, drying off, and flying around the yard. If I see them, I'll show it all to you, and Monica will video it. But this is something that I have to have around the house in case there is open standing water. Now I have a filter on that pond, so I don't get mosquitoes in that, but I have a pot of water on the back patio, and I will take one of these. It has a germ called a bacillus that it can dry and stay alive. The word for that is stasis. It's not doing anything, but it's alive. And it's in stasis in these oatmeal-y looking donuts. And you just take them, they're called mosquito dunks. You can get them at Home Depot or you can buy them online. And you just throw them into a pond or put some into some standing water somewhere. And the little bacillus, the little germs, only attack mosquitoes and their young. Nothing else. They won't hurt your fish. They wouldn't hurt your butterfly caterpillars. Zip. They don't hurt the water striders. Nothing. Just the mosquitoes. And they get into that and the mosquitoes die. Now, I like mosquitoes as much as anybody else. I know they're the only pollinators in the tundra. Remember kindergarten, we talked about that? They don't have bees up there because it's too cold. And mosquitoes love flower nectar. It's just that if the girl gets some blood, it's the difference between laying 4 eggs and 400 eggs. And when you're out in the evening and the mosquitoes are flying around, if you have a group of mosquitoes above your head and they're doing donuts above your head, not this kind of donut, just flying around doing donuts, those are the males. They're not interested in biting you at all. They drink flower nectar. But they know that the ladies will show up to drink your blood. And they'll wait until she's had a drink of blood from your arm, and as soon as she flies away, they'll chase her and give her the spark of life. And we have baby mosquitoes on the way. Yeah. So we don't want to have a lot of those around because they can carry some kinds of illness that could make us sick. So this is your go-to thing. Some parents buy mosquito fish, or you can get them free from the county of Santa Clara. They'll actually have a person come and deliver some to your house and put them in your pond that has still water. Remember, mine has a filter and a pump on it, so it's sucking everything all the time. And I don't get any problem with that. Don't forget these, Mom and Dad. One of the parents sent a picture, a video of, oh no, I guess it was Zoom time of, I won't name names, but they thought they had tadpoles on their pool cover. And I set them straight. They're mosquitoes. So this is your best friend.